Hello. In this video, you will learn how to do basic library research for your Women's Studies Feminist Film class. In this video, I'm going to introduce the Women's Studies Feminist Film Library Research Guide. I'm going to introduce good databases for you all to use, and I'm also going to introduce how you would access some of the full text articles of those library resources. Now, let's see how to access the Library Research Guide. It is through your Blackboard shell for this class. Simply go to the library corner on the left-hand side, click on it, and then from the library corner, you're going to click on WS3335 Research Guide under Class Resources. And this is your library research guide for this class. On the left-hand side, you'll see useful tabs. Today in particular, we're going to be going over the Databases tab. Below that, you have my contact information. You can also contact me in Blackboard, but you also have my information here available if you need it. While today we're going to mostly focus on databases and how to access sources from those databases, please feel free to explore the rest of this guide. If you need assistance accessing resources off of campus, if you need a refresher on search tips or evaluating sources, if you would like some citation help or tips on citation, or you want to create a RefWorks account to manage your citations, please use this guide to its full advantage. And if you have any questions regarding this guide at all, please feel free to contact me. So let's start off by clicking on databases. So the databases that we're going to go over today are EBSCO databases. EBSCO owns a lot of databases that the UTEP library has access to. And the advantage of having so many EBSCO databases is that they can all be searched together at the same time. So here are the main ones that we're going to focus on today. Film and Television Literature Index with full text, which covers a wide variety of different films and television, as the name implies, as well as Communication and Mass Media Complete. It also covers film and film theory. Academic Search Complete, which is kind of a catch-all database, is multidisciplinary, which is going to pull in women's studies material as well. And Humanities Full Text is going to be more along the lines of feminism and women's studies. Another database that I do want to introduce you to, if you haven't been introduced to it already, is called MinerQuest. So MinerQuest searches almost everything that the UTEP library has to offer. It's searching all three of these databases that I mentioned, as well as everything else that we have. Now, I would actually recommend going to the film databases first, because MinerQuest is searching almost everything, so you might be getting too many results. I would actually go to MinerQuest if, after doing some research with these databases, you're not getting enough, or you're not getting enough articles dealing with a particular film. Then let's go to MinerQuest to see if we can get any additional information. But before we go into the databases, we need to figure out what we're going to search for. Here are some potential search terms that we can use in our database searches. In the first search box, we're definitely going to want to include the title of the film that we're searching for, whether that's Vertigo or Stella Dallas or one of the other films we'll be watching this semester. When you type in the name of the film, you want to be sure to include the word film in parentheses as well. You don't always have to, but then this guarantees that articles that you find are only going to be mentioning these films. In the second search box, that's where you're going to type in feminist film theory, but you're not just going to type that in. You're going to type in any variation of feminism or feminist cinema using the word or. So you're going to want to use this example or a similar example when you're typing in your search terms in these databases. Now, let's begin some searches. Going back to the guide, let's click on the Databases tab, and then we're going to click on Film and Television Literature Index with full text. So as you can see, I already typed in the search terms that we're going to use. I typed in Vertigo with film in parentheses, and in the second search box, I typed in feminist film theory, as well as all the different variations of feminist film theory and feminism. The reason I did that is because if I just type in feminist film theory, I'm missing out on any articles that mention any of these other variations. Now let's click on search. So as you can see, I have 12 results, and that sounds okay. That might not be a lot of results though, and maybe not all of these are going to work out. So here's what I can do. I'm going to choose other EBSCO databases so I can search them all at the same time. To do that, I'm going to go to the top of the page where it says Choose Databases, which is next to the title of this database. And then I see a list of dozens of EBSCO databases, but I don't want to search them all. I just want to search a few. Looking at the list I provided in the guide, here's what we're going to go with. Academic Search Complete, which is a multidisciplinary database. Communication and Mass Media Complete, which covers film as well. And then Humanities Full Text, which is where I'm going to get some women's studies articles. And also, if you're not sure exactly, well, what is in these databases really, because the title isn't telling me a whole lot, you can click on the little arrows next to the titles, and it tells you exactly what kinds of information, what kinds of content are in these databases. Now I'm going to click on OK. Now I'm searching through all 4 of these databases. So when I click on search, hopefully I'll have more than 12 results. I have 20 results, almost double, and that's much, much better. I do want to point out how to access these articles once you find them. So let's take a look at these first 2. The first one, it looks like there is a PDF full text available, which is really good. So I'm going to click on it. And then I see the name of the article, the authors, the source where the journal article came from, subject terms, which might be helpful in future searches if I want to add more search terms, the abstract, which is a summary of the article, so I know whether or not I want to invest time in reading the article. If I do, then, oh look, there's a PDF full text link. I can click on that, and then I'm able to read the entire article. If I go back, you'll notice some tools on the right-hand side. One particular useful tool is the Cite tool. So if I click on this link, it's going to give me citations for different citation styles. So for instance, if I'm using APA 7th edition, I would just copy and paste this citation into my Works Cited page, and there it is. I don't have to worry about it anymore. Although that's not entirely true. These citation tools are great time savers, but they're not always 100% correct. So just to make sure that they are 100% correct, you'll want to double check using either an APA manual or the Purdue OWL, the University Writing Center. All of these resources I have in our library guide under Citation Help. But let's go back to our database search. Okay, so that's if we have a full text article in this particular database. But what about articles that show up that aren't full text? So let's take a look at this article, and it looks really, really relevant. So we have the authors, the name of the journal, subject terms, short abstract, but it looks like worthwhile. It looks worth my time. But if I look on the left-hand side, there is no PDF full text, just a link that says check for this item at the UTEP library. So what this means is that this particular article isn't available full text in these sets of databases. But we have lots of databases. We have 540 databases. So there's a good chance that this particular journal article we do have in another database. So that's what this link is going to do. It's going to check to see if we have this at the UTEP library somewhere else. So let's click on that. And it turns out that we do. So it's taking us to MinerQuest. So it's pointing us to the database where the journal and full text of this article exists. So I'm going to click on this link, and it takes me to the full text of the article that I'm able to read. So even if you come across an article in an EBSCO database and there's no full text available, click on that link, check for this item at the UTEP library, and we'll see if we have it. Now, this isn't always going to be the case. We're a large library, but we're not the largest in the world, and no library in the world is going to have everything. So if you ever come across an article or resource that we don't have, if you click on check for this item at the UTEP library and we don't have the item, instead of a link to a database, you'll get a link to Interlibrary Loan. Now, in order for this option to show up, you may need to log in to MinerQuest, and all that login information is your UTEP username and password. But once you see this link, all you need to do is click on it. And if you've never used Interlibrary Loan before, you'll need to create an account. Now, your username and password will actually already be done for you since it's your UTEP credentials. But from there, you'll just be asked for some basic registration information. I believe it's your physical mailing address. And the reason it asks for that is because if you're a distance education student, Interlibrary Loan is also how you would go about borrowing books from the library, books that we own. But once you have your account set up, once you log in, the request form will already be filled out for you. The name of the article, the volume number, the year. You don't have to do anything except click on Submit Request. And then you will get this article emailed to you as a PDF within a matter of hours. It can be as little as 2 to 3 hours to as many as 48 hours. It just depends on where the article is and where it's coming from and where we're borrowing it from. But typically, an electronic request like this shouldn't take that long. And once you have the PDF full text, it's yours. You don't have to worry about returning it. It's not going to disappear. It's yours to do with as you will. I also want to reemphasize that this is a free service. You don't have to pay for anything. So any article or piece of information that you come across that you need that the UTEP library does not have, you can get it for free. And that's not just for this class, but any class where you're doing research. So even if it's an article or resource that you found outside the library, like through Google Scholar or through another journal, if you're being asked to pay for it, don't do it. Just go to Interlibrary Loan through the UTEP library. If you would like to access Interlibrary Loan right away and create an account before you actually need it, go back to the library guide, to the Databases tab, and on the left-hand side, there'll be a link straight to Interlibrary Loan. And from here, after you log in, you'll be able to create an account. So remember, you already have your UTEP username and password. Just click on Log On, and then the registration process will begin from there. I want to discuss how you would go about finding a film review in these databases. To do that, simply type in the name of the film with film in parentheses, and then click on Search. From the results page, you're going to want to scroll down, and on the left-hand side under Source Type, click on Reviews. And most of these are going to be film reviews. Some of them might be reviews of the film, not necessarily by critics, but more an academic analysis. But most of them are going to be film reviews by film critics. So now that we're familiar with some of these EBSCO databases, let's explore MinerQuest in the event that we're not able to find quite enough resources using these databases. So we're going to click on MinerQuest, and then we're going to click on Advanced Search. Now remember, MinerQuest is searching through almost everything that the UTEP library has to offer. It's a really wide net. So that's why you might want to go there next after some of those initial EBSCO databases. So I typed in the same search terms that I did before in the previous databases, except this time I'm using Stella Dallas instead of Vertigo. One very important thing to mention when you're using MinerQuest is that when you're typing in synonyms using or has to be capitalized when you're searching in MinerQuest. Otherwise, the search isn't going to work the way you want it to. And now I'm going to click on Search. I get 35 results, but it's a combination of books, articles, and videos. If I just want to see articles, on the left-hand side of the screen, if I go to Source Type, I can click on Articles. And then we have 16 articles based off of Stella Dallas, as well as feminism or feminist film theory. If I want to access any of these articles, I just click on one, and there should be a link to a database where the full text of this article exists. If you want to look for film reviews in MinerQuest, you would do the same thing that we did in the EBSCO databases. Type in the name of the film with film in parentheses, and then click on Search. From here, on the left-hand side, under Source Type, we're going to click on Reviews. And here you'll see reviews of the film. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions or need any kind of assistance, please feel free to email me or schedule an appointment with me, and we can meet virtually.